And so if anyone has announcements or things they'd like to share, we can do that now. Feel free to unmute or to type in the chat. Hey, Adam, good to see you.
Just out of curiosity, how many people are going to ALA?
That's my question too.
Excellent. I'm gonna, does everybody know about the Build Back Better thing? I'll put the information in the link. So put that on your schedule, because even though it's sponsored by Brass, it's not in the schedule by Brass, which is something maybe somebody in ALA can take care of. So I'll send that information in there to make sure that everybody's aware of it. Let me go find it.
That would be great. Oh, there's my long lost friend Sheldon. Hey, Sheldon. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Jana. Hey, Lee. Okay, we have a pretty good group here. We have, hey, there's Maria. Hey, Maria. We have 4 different libraries speaking today about their small business initiatives. All 4 of these libraries were featured in our Libraries That Build Business book that was released in May. So we're really excited to celebrate that and for you all to get to meet some of the other contributors. But before we get started with that, each presenter will get about 10 minutes to talk about their small business initiative, and we'll have time for questions. This is our regular monthly Libraries Build Business community discussion. We do one of these every month. We hope for them to be informal and engaging, and a good way for you to connect with one another as peers working on small business initiatives. So if there are ever topics or speakers that you'd like to see in this space, please let me know. I'm always open to those ideas. So yeah, I usually announce the topic a couple of weeks in advance, and people can sign up. It's supposed to be an informal way to connect. So definitely let me know if you have ideas on that. I'd love to hear from people if you want to be a facilitator or a presenter, or if you know other people that would be a great fit for that. Let me know. Jennifer already asked, but I'm going to ask again now that we have more people. If you're coming to annual, who's coming to annual? Yay, very exciting. So Jennifer mentioned the Brass Business Program that will be, I think, on Monday. She's going to put the link in the chat. Libraries Build Business also has 2 programs. We have a panel of speakers on Saturday afternoon about the Libraries Build Business Initiative, and we have a News You Can Use session on Monday that features how to build a self-paced business program from the Independence Public Library and the LA Public Library. So check those out if you're an annual. We're also having a book launch party. If you're going to be at annual and you haven't seen the info about that yet, send me a message. I will make sure you get that invite. We'd love to have you there. We're going to celebrate our Libraries That Build Business book. And speaking of, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll put the link in the chat. But Libraries That Build Business is our new book from ALA Editions. Our featured speakers today are all contributors to that effort, and many of you here as well. Yeah, Geeta's got her copy. Woohoo! Other exciting things going on with Libraries Build Business, we're still offering peer coaching. We have Libraries Build Business peer coaches that are working one-to-one with people interested in starting or growing their small business initiatives and are looking for a thought partner or a peer reviewer, that kind of thing. I have a sign-up sheet if anyone is interested in that. Let me see if I can find that. I'll put that in the chat in a minute, but if you're interested in peer coaching, it's a free opportunity to work one-to-one with one of the Libraries Build Business peer coaches. That's ongoing right now. I highly encourage you to sign up even if you just want to have one conversation. It's super flexible and customized to your needs. So definitely check that out. I'll put the link in the chat in just a minute. And I think that's it for my announcements. Does anybody else have anything before I turn it over to Jennifer Byrnes from the Rochester Library?
Okay, are we good?
I think so, yeah. So Jennifer, take it away.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Megan, thanks so much for having me. Really good to be here. I'm Jennifer Byrnes. I'm head of the Business Insight Center at the Central Library of Rochester and Monroe County in New York, not Minnesota, the important one. So a little background. So Rochester used to be a company town. So we had the three big employers. We had Eastman Kodak, Xerox, and Bausch and Lomb. Well, as we know, Eastman Kodak declared bankruptcy. They went from having 90,000 employees to having about 2,000. Xerox moved their headquarters, Bausch and Lomb moved their headquarters. So because people who live in Rochester really love Rochester and they all stayed in Rochester. So we're now a town of companies. So we had a lot of, engineers, PhD chemists who are all at Xerox and Kodak, and they're like, I'm not leaving. I'm going to start my own business, right? So we have a lot of optics, photonics companies, and a lot of health technology companies. And back in the day, we were one of the top per capita cities to have patents. So, and actually that's still the case today when you look at it per capita. So what do we do? So we're a little different. I have the equivalent of 2.5 FTEs, so that's not a lot, right? So we have a very different approach. So we are appointment only. We do not have a reference desk. We don't have the staff to staff a reference desk. So people can call us, email us, whatever their questions are. We sit down with them one-on-one. And we started that in about 2017, I want to say. And the benefit of that was that when COVID hit, nothing about our practices changed. We just went from in-person meetings to Zoom meetings. So everybody, there was no different practice. So we didn't have to adapt to anything. We were already doing it that way anyway. So we work with startups, again, in the tech sector. We have a lot of incubators in town through Rochester Institute of Technology and the University of Rochester. We have a lot of expensive databases that we use to serve our clients. Those include Frost & Sullivan, IBISWorld, PitchBook, Emergent Intellect. And we spend about $75,000 a year on our database subscriptions. Fortunately, we have an endowment that pays for a good chunk of that, but it's still a lot of money, obviously, and we wouldn't be able to function without that endowment. So we are also home to the Carlson Center for Intellectual Property. So that's a patent and trademark resource center. And what we do is prior art searches for patents and trademarks. My colleague, Kate Meta, is an excellent patent searcher. We do this, of course, for free, no cost, which if you're patenting something and you have nothing, you don't want to pay an attorney a few $1,000s to tell you that you've got nothing, right? That's a downer, right? So we do those prior art searches. We can also do patent landscape reports through our database Innovation Queue. We can schedule you to meet with a patent examiner. Am I frozen? Sorry. Am I frozen? Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Someone said you froze. Okay, anyway. So through the Patent Virtual Assistance Program, you can meet with a patent examiner prior to filing your patent. So if anyone does any patent work, if you don't fill out those forms correctly, they will send them back to you. And those are called office actions. And every time they send it back to you, there's a fee attached to that. So we want people to fill it out correctly the first time to secure their IP, as well as to avoid paying even more money. If there is a question around would a trademark fly, do I have freedom to operate? We have an intellectual property attorney that our clients can meet with at no cost. So we subsidize meetings with that IP attorney. We also, since cannabis became legal in New York, we're now subsidizing meetings with CPAs and attorneys that specialize in cannabis because of the unique regulatory aspects of running those types of businesses. And so let's see, we do a lot of outreach. You won't find us in the library a lot. We go to incubators and hang out there. It really helps to be out there where people are working instead of expecting them to come to you in the library. And we do the research for them. We don't expect them to sit down in front of a database. We're better at it. We're faster at it. They need to focus on running their business. And we can do it in a fraction of the time. So we encourage people to just let us do it for them. Obviously, if they really wanted to come in, they can. There's nothing to see particularly. We have a pretty empty floor. But that's really our value proposition, is that we're going to do it for you. We're going to save you a lot of time, and we're going to save you a lot of money. We save the community about $2 million a year in the reports that we provide to the community. Another novel aspect of us is that we are not limited by geography. We help people all over the country and the world through the Luminate program, which is an optics competition. We have companies that come in from all over to participate in that. So we've been working with people in Mexico, England, you name it, the Netherlands. So we're not limited by any, catchment area per se. And I think that's probably it in a nutshell. So it's just me, a part-time, my patent manager, Kate, Melissa, who does a lot of research for us as well, and our clerk extraordinaire. So we're a very small team, and but we get the job done. So yeah. Any questions? Okay. All righty.
I actually have a question. Do you keep stats?
Yes.
How do you do that? How are you tracking?
What we do, so what we do is when we're doing our monthly report, we put in the number of in-depth research hours that we do, which usually comes to about 60 hours per month that we spend. So we're very different than like a reference desk where it's like, I'm going to give you this answer in the next 2 minutes. The research that we do sometimes takes hours or days. So it's very different than, just kind of ready reference. We are a research service. We're not reference service.
So you report hours. Because I know like our information desk, they take a tick for every question they answer.
Right. And other divisions do that, but that wouldn't really be indicative of what we're doing. It would be like, well, that's nothing, but it's like, but if each person is 2 hours worth of research, it's not an apples to apples thing. So that's how we report our numbers.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Chantal, yes, we do research for people anywhere in the world. Anyone that calls us, we will help them. They don't have to have a library card. They don't have to, we get people, like I said, some people move out of Rochester and they still call us. We have people move to New York, and if you guys are familiar with NYPL, sometimes they charge people for the information. Depending on how fast you want that information, it will cost you more. So we have a really different customer service model where it's free, doesn't matter where you live. We work with Syracuse University Innovation Law Center. We work with University at Buffalo Medical Campus, U of R, RIT, Hobart, and William Smith colleges. So we're very active with with all of the academic institutions. And so they get connected with us, when they're young, and they don't, they value the experience they have with us. And so they keep, even if they leave, they keep calling us. So. with our database licensing. Okay. May I ask where you, okay, so it is my email. Am I saying that just to, okay. Okay, so, oh, how does that work with database licensing? These companies all, typically have a Rochester connection, whether it's through like the Illuminate Optics competition, or they've gone through the Entrepreneurs Network Bootcamp, which was through Monroe County. The Patent and Trademark Resource Center, we, again, they're not created equal. So there may be a PTRC that doesn't have the amount of experience that we do, and they'll contact us. So again, we don't say no, we don't ask them, where they're from, whatever, but we do end up, usually we have some interaction with them in some way, like we teach at the law school, right? So that's how they learn about us. So these are all part of like our program that we're involved with, if that answers your question. How do we get the business? Okay. How do we get the university's business experts to work with libraries? So academic, and I'm a recovering academic, the model again is they're going to have people do it themselves. They're going to see you at the beginning of the semester, they're going to teach you how to use some databases, and then they're like, take care, I'm done, right? You're done. So again, it's, we have actually better resources than the academic libraries. And it's a different service model. So again, if they, if people are not having an easy time finding the information they want, that academic librarian is not necessarily going to support them the way that they need. So what happens is we usually end up working with coaches who are assigned to the business school to work with, when the students are doing like a capstone project or something like that. And those coaches are usually huge advocates of the Business Insight Center. And so that's how we get connected to all of those students.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thanks.
Thanks so
guys.
much for sharing that. You can read more about it in Libraries That Build Business. Jennifer wrote a chapter about their amazing work that they're doing at the Rochester Library. So moving right along, we have next Geeta Halley from the Round Rock Public Library in Texas.
So hello everyone from super warm Texas. It's 100 degrees. And our library is about 15 miles north of Austin. We're just a single branch library. I'm the assistant director here at the Round Rock Public Library. And it was just on a lark that when I would work at the reference desk, I would have people that would come to the reference desk and say, I want to do business research. And then they would say, I want to know if my company should be an LLC or, do I incorporate it? And so I would take them to the business reference section and then walk away. And I kept wondering, what do these people do after they find this information? How do they make progress in starting a business? I was just wondering because I would never be able to do that. I don't know what it takes to run a business. And so I wondered about them, and just 2-3 things came together at one point. A couple of years later, after I had these thoughts, I met with the chamber for something unrelated to what we've been doing with our business program, something unrelated, and SCORE, Austin. SCORE stands for Service Corps of Retired Executives. They're a federally funded organization, an arm of the SBA, and SCORE Austin was there. And then talking to them, I found out that they were doing small business workshops. And so looking at their slate of offerings that all SCORE chapters do, those were fantastic workshop titles. And so I asked them if they would do a couple workshops for us here at the Round Rock Library. And my success metric for that was if we had more than 7 people, because our adult book clubs in 2015 had only 7 to 10 people. So I said, well, if we have 7, that would be really good. And our first workshop, we had 98 people. And for several years, it stayed steady at between 75 and less than 100. We never crossed 100. So it became very popular. And this is what, and so we do it twice a year. Our program is called Visibility. We do it every year, and I work with SCORE. I look at their current offerings that they have, and y'all can go, if you don't have a SCORE chapter in your area, you can just go to Austin SCORE, go to their calendar of events, and you'll see the offerings they have. They're very, very nice people, and I'm sure I haven't had a chance to talk to them because the person, he's on vacation, and I wanted to talk to because I wanted to ask them permission, and I will let Megan know what their answer is. For those who are in rural libraries or something, if Austin SCORE could let you join their Zoom meeting so you can offer the workshops, I'll find out from them. I haven't had a chance to do that. One of the things is that we started, so Austin SCORE started to do these workshops for us. We do them as a series of 8 to 10 workshops back to back, one whole series in the spring and one entire series in the fall. And I'll show you what that looks like. I'm going to share my screen. So this is what it's called, Visibility Small Business Workshops. And so they're from 1 to 3. And the reason it's on a Friday is because that's the only day on Friday after 1 o'clock that our meeting rooms are not used by youth services for story time. It's because we're so popular for story time. And here are some of the topics that we've been doing. If you want to look at that, I'll just scroll slowly. Anything that we do for Facebook and social media always draws about 90 people. Those are the highest attended workshops that we have. And so what that did for us as a library is that we started to see people come from all over. We are about 3 hours south of Dallas, and we have people coming from Dallas and Fort Worth to this library just for the workshops that we offer. And so I think in choosing the topics, those became very relevant to people. And every time after the benefit of this for the library was that when people would come, they would immediately stop and get a library card with us, and they wanted to use our databases. One of the problems, I'm sure many of you can relate to this, is where we spend a lot of money on really good quality databases and it's underused. Our business, because of these workshops, and before every workshop, I talk about the databases and demo just 2-3 minutes of each database, we see a continual usage of our databases. So this is let me see if I can share another. And so here's,
Yeah, it's still the same.
Oh, is it the same still?
Yeah, I think you have to like unshare and then share again. It has this little quirk.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm sharing it again, right? Can you see the other one with an orange?
Yes.
Okay. So here's another example of workshops. And the other thing I want to talk about, and so I did apply for the Google grant that PLA had about libraries built business. And I received the $2,000 that they offered. At the time, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with the $2,000. And so I had remembered about 8 or 9 years ago, I saw where the New York Public Library had a business plan competition. That was 8 or 9 years ago. And the grand prize was $30,000. And it was sponsored by 3M. And I knew I couldn't come up with that kind of money. I only had $2,000. And so I called the New York Public Library and asked them, I just wanted to check in with them and tell them that I had this thought about copying what they did, but I only had $2,000 and if I should even go forward with the idea. They did meet with me. The entire team of the New York Public Library met with me and highly encouraged me to go forward with this. They said $2,000, even $1,000, you go forward with this. And I share this only so you know that you can start something very small and you can just start something as a seed and you can watch it grow, because I watched this small conversation become really big and popular. So they encouraged me to go forward with it. They said somebody, a small business owner, will benefit. And they also told me, they said, go ahead and take everything from our website that we have about the rules and regulations. There's no, don't reinvent the wheel. We'll share it with you. So I took everything off their website and launched the small business plan competition with the $2,000 from the library's Built Business, which I'll show it to you. Can you tell me if you can see this? And can you see this other screen with pictures of the finalists? No.
No.
Okay. But you can see the one with the runner-up and the winners, right? Okay, so we went ahead and I started this, took everything off the New York Public Library's website, changed from New York Public Library to Round Rock Public Library, and launched the program, which started in January. And the requirements was they would have to meet with a librarian, which was me, and I showed them our library resources that we had here at the library. They had to use the database Gale Business Plan Builder to submit their plan. Within about 2 weeks, we're headquarters here at Round Rock to Dell. So Dell's global headquarters is right here, about 2 miles from our library. And so Dell contacted me and offered $5,000. The chamber offered me $4,000. And before I knew it, I had $13,000. So as you can see, the grand prize winner got $10,000. And the runner-up got $3,500. This was so popular. The usage of our business databases went through the roof. And we also, when they would meet with me, every one of these, I met with about 35 to 40 people who wanted to participate and submit their business plan. Every one of those, before we talked about the library business databases, I would show them all the other databases so that they would have an idea of what we had in this library. And there was only one person that I met with that was familiar with our databases. The other 35 didn't even know that we had this. So all in all, it was really good publicity for the library and a good publicity. It gave us an opportunity to showcase what this public library offers its community. So, and if I can, I'm going to try one more time to show you our business plan, because I want to give credit to the New York Public Library. So just 1 second, I'm going to try that. I have it on my screen. I just don't know where it is. Let me, okay, now can you see it says the top 6 finalists on your screen? So here is what we took from the New York Public Library: the entry form, the judging criteria, rules and eligibility. We this is what we took from them. These were the top 6 finalists that we had. Out of the about 20 sent in their business plans, and then we picked 6, and then the 6 did a live pitch competition. And as you can tell, this is what we did with our databases. We made them do that. Use the databases. Here's the prizes, and then here are the rules and entries. So just wanted to share that with you, just to encourage everyone that sometimes someone like me who doesn't know what I'm doing, but if I take the first step, a lot of other steps get taken care of, and hope that helps everyone. That's all I have, unless you have any questions for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Geeta, and congratulations. That's such a great story. And we have someone in the chat, Arcola from Brooklyn Public Library, who says that the New York Public Library one was based on Brooklyn's, and Brooklyn indeed is in our book. So lots of great business plan competition, yeah, in our midst here. So actually, Arcola, Geeta and I want to talk to you about putting together a proposal about pitch competitions. So we'll talk to you later. In the interest of time, if people have questions for Geeta, if you could put those in the chat, and we'll try to get to them at the end, but I want to make sure we get to all of our presenters. And Geeta, if you could stop share so we can move to St. Louis County. We have, from St. Louis County, we have Megan and Nick with us today.
Everybody, real quick, if I'm glitchy, I am super sorry because I can already see my screen. All right, can you guys?
Did we lose her? I couldn't hear. Oh, there she is.
Okay, so I was gonna share a PowerPoint, but I guess I won't do that. It like crashed my computer. So my name is Megan Pfifer Davis. I am the reference manager for St. Louis County Library, and with me is my assistant manager and visually here. And Megan, if you could share that, that would be great. My laptop literally was like, share screen. No, you can't do that. Goodbye. But you can see Nick's my lovely face. The laptop that I was able to grab did not have a camera, so you get this nice view of me hanging out at Rocky Mountain National Park. And then we also have a person on our team of reference. Her name is Angela Brooks. She is our Small Business Employment Resources Coordinator. And so within reference, we do everything for the St. Louis County as a centralized location. So St. Louis County is extremely huge. We have about 900,000 people in our population, and we're mostly a suburban library. Within our district, we have 20 branches, and we are located. So we are at the quote unquote headquarters branch. We moved out last week, and we're in a temporary place in our administration building. But all of my team, which is a team of 12 of us, we are essentially located right now in the Beck, which is an admin building. But we are able to go out to the community and help people with small business needs. Our poverty level in the county vastly is large. So I have 20% internet deserts. And then our service needs are mostly higher than circ. So we have branches that have higher needs for circulation and the high book circulation. And then we have branches that have higher needs for service. So they might come in for printing, legal services, and so on. So slide if my computer is being kind. It works is we have our partners, we do outreach, we have programs, and we do a small business annual expo, and then we have a value calculator. On the next slide, I talk about partners. So a big part of our work is working with partners. So this is just a small list of the people that we have worked with that Angela reaches out to each month to not only offer programs at St. Louis County Library we have and how we can work together for the entrepreneurs that are in the organization or in St. Louis County. So we have a really good connection with SCORE, we've heard mentioned before, Legal Services of Eastern Missouri. They come out every second Tuesday of the month. And when I say come out, they're virtual currently, where we 30-minute legal attorney where people can meet here for 2 full hours, and they usually have about 2 to 4 attorneys available. We also work with Grow with Google, Reference Solutions. If you guys don't have Bill Carlson as your person, he's absolutely amazing, and he offers programs to our community quite often. And then Urban League and VetBiz are also big partners for us. On the next slide, I talk about outreach. So I think Jennifer mentioned it when she was talking, but if you're not out in the community doesn't know what you have to provide. So Angela does a ton of outreach within St. Louis County. She's part of many chambers of commerce. She goes to different events in St. Louis. So she was at the St. Louis Business Expo not too long ago, and she'll be there again. We work with colleges and universities. So we have Hairston University here in St. Louis, and she sits on a board, and they're currently making a like a business hub at their university. And so by this connection that we had made to talk about our services, she now is sitting on a board that's going to be able to help give ideas on what's going to be beneficial to students for small businesses and entrepreneurship. And then we also go talk to classes. That was something that was a little difficult. I know someone said, how do you get colleges and universities to agree to have you come talk to them? I used to work in academics as well, and my business faculty were the hardest faculty to crack, but we have a very awesome professor at one of our universities that has us come out semester just to talk to students about the resources that we have through the library. And then we also go to some of our partner outreach. So we'll go talk and present with SCORE. I believe we presented with SCORE yesterday just to talk to their cohort about what we have. And then WeBo and Onyx Business Solutions are courses that people can attend, and then they have us come out and we teach like 1 or 2 sessions depending, and then they get homework assignments based on what we talk about where they can reach out to us. On the next slide, I talk about our programs and expo. So we do an annual expo. When Angela started, she started in like November. So her first annual expo was in January of 2021. And then that was supposed to be the 2020 expo. So she did 2 expos in 2021, in January and in December. And then moving forward, we decided, poor Angela, we don't want to do this to her again because December is such a hectic month for everybody anyways. We're moving it to October. But the annual expo is for this year is going to be virtual and in person, and it's going to be 5 days at 5 of our different branches, and it's 5 of our branches that see the highest amount of requests for our book a librarian appointments. So when we have our programs and our outreach, we're really pushing people to book a one-on-one session with a librarian afterwards so that we can sit and talk with them for about an hour about the resources. And then we also do monthly partner programs and monthly library resource programs. So just to go over our resources and just for our partners to be able to talk about the great stuff that they do for the community. But I think the main thing I'm here to talk about is the St. Louis County Library's value calculator. So my predecessor, her name is Jennifer Gibson. She is the one that wrote the chapter for ALA. And she created a value calculator because her thought was, what does the library do that I can tell an entrepreneur to say, like, this is why you should use us? So what is the return on investment just for using the library? So she decided to make a value calculator, and she broke it out into 6 different sections. So services, sales and marketing, industry and financial analysis, funding, newspapers and magazines, and other resources. And on the next slide, I have a picture of what that looks like that we have internally. So this is something that we don't have public facing, but we could fill out for a person. So if they had a one-on-one consulting training session with us, that's about $150 that we're averaging. These are numbers that Jennifer came up with when she was looking into what a small business owner would be paying for a service such as what we offer. And then at the end, if they said, I did one of each of these, it would save them about $13,000. So Jennifer would pitch to people
Megan, we lost your audio.
how am I?
I still can't hear you.
She said her laptop is frozen again. Excellent.
Nikole, do you know if she's coming back or should we move on?
I think she's trying to log back in, but I'm messaging her now to see what she wants me to do. Okay, she said she's coming back in. It's loading, I guess.
Sorry, I can't really hear you either. Did you say she's coming back?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so hopefully I just had to like unconnect from the Wi-Fi and we can reconnect. So thank you, Nick, for being here. So I'll start over from like, I guess, the middle of the value calculator. But we were able to tell businesses that we are able to save them about $13,000 if they were to use all of our services. So that was an idea that the urban library councils really liked. So they adapted into their own value calculator, which is on the next slide. So Jennifer presented with the ULC on their value calculator and how it started from something that we built in a Google Sheet and is now this big value calculator that you can look at on the ULC's website. And when they went more broad than us. So when we are telling people, if you use our services, this is what it looks like, just our reference services, it's about $13,000. But when we filled out our same stuff for our community on the ULC's calculator, the library can provide about $52 million in value for the area for entrepreneurs. So I would definitely take that as a way to look out to see what your library can do, just because it's a really great elevator pitch that you're able to say, I can save you this, and it gives the patrons the why as to why I should use the resources. And then on the next slide, and it's 52 million annual, yes. On the next slide, I have what's in the works for St. Louis County. So I saw Adam was here. So we met with Adam from Gwinnett County Public Library in May to talk about his libraries district's Fresh Start Incubator. So Nick and I are currently working on how we can recreate this in our community, and we hope to maybe launch something in early 2023. And then we're also working on an ambassador program. So before COVID, we had something called an ambassador program where staff in the branches were each trained on the different pieces of small business. So since we're centralized and we're not at every single branch, if somebody were to go to any of the branches, they'd be able to talk to somebody that could talk to the small business resources that we have and then connect them to us. So we're looking to get back into that ambassador program where we would have at least one person at every branch that is able to be the business expert of the branch, and that they could go to. So since I get kicked out and in 1,000 times, if there are any questions, I do not see them in the chat. But I know since I've also been kicked out 1,000 times, Megan probably wants to go to the next person.
Thank you, Megan and Nick. Yeah, I think in the interest of time, let's do questions in the chat and we can answer some questions at the end if we have time. But yeah, I'd like to move on to Sophia and Elizabeth from the Middle Country Public Library in New York. They're our final presenters and are also Libraries That Build Business book contributors. So thank you, St. Louis County, and hello, Sophia and Elizabeth.
Hello, everybody. It's nice to see everyone, and thank you for having us today. Can everybody hear me okay? Yes, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so my name is Sophia Serlis-McPhillips, and I'm the director of the Middle Country Library, and I'm here today with my colleague Elizabeth Malafi, who's the coordinator. I'm still involved in the Miller Center. I was one of the librarians when we first started. Probably to Elizabeth's dismay, I will not unentangle myself because I love the business center and I love working with the business community, and it's sort of been a passion of both of ours for a very long time. So, one question is, what is the Miller Center? It is a center that is situated within the Middle Country Public Library. In about 2002, we were doing a large renovation project and we had the opportunity to expand, and we were able to get 5,000 square feet to develop the Miller Center. So, we do have a reference desk there. Under that auspice, we have careers, we have business, we have law, we have workforce development, and we have literacy. We have a literacy office, a career counseling office. We also have an office where a social worker meets. And, we have a reference desk that's staffed from 9:30 to 9. Currently, we have 3 full-time librarians that are dedicated to the Miller Center. We have other part-time staff that we train that can sit up there and answer questions and so forth. But really, it's just those 3 that are out and about doing everything. And of course, they have other responsibilities, so it's a little bit of a challenge, but we seem, to get the work done. We are a tax-funded public library, but fortunately, we do have a library foundation, and similar to some of the other libraries that I heard today, we're constantly writing grants and soliciting sponsorships so that we can provide the programming that we do. So a lot of the resources are purchased from the library budget, but to do all the extra, we really do need the extra funding. And that our foundation allows us to do that. And the goal of the Miller Center is to be a regional business center for all of Long Island, not just for our Middle Country community. And, we've been working on that to spread the word as much as we can. And, it's sort of contrary. We kind of joke about this. I think I saw the Brentwood Public Library that's also on Long Island. But, contrary to popular belief, Long Island is not all wealthy. It's not all the Hamptons. Our community is very middle class, and a lot of the businesses and the entrepreneurs are struggling to get by, in this economy like everybody else. So we just try to reach them as much as we can. We do work similar to all the other libraries as well. We have a lot of partnerships. We will work with a lot of the organizations and the associations, and we solicit their support. And in return, our librarians attend their conferences, their programs, their events, and we want to make sure that they know that we are partners with them. Sometimes one of the challenges that we face is that some of our colleagues in the business community feel that we are trying to take over what they're supposed to be doing. And we try to explain that, no, we're very different than what you're doing. We're not business counselors. We provide information and we're here to partner and to help support you. And we refer people all the time. So it's always a challenge. So we do try to work with them in collaboration, and so that they see us as a partner, not as competition. 2 of the partnerships that we actually mentioned in the book that we felt were supported the Miller Center the most and helped us expand was the partnership that we have with our chamber. For the long time, we didn't have a chamber in the community. So in the late 1990s, we worked with the community members that were integral in establishing it. So from the very beginning, we were part of that. They have all their meetings at the library. They still do after 22 years. We work with them on different activities. We give them office space. We let them have storage here. So that's been very fruitful, and it's helped us really work and, interact with the business community that's local. On a larger scale, we also had a partnership with the Hauppauge Industrial Association, which is one of the largest industrial parks on the Northeast. And it was sort of a unique private-public partnership. Again, in the late 90s, they wanted to develop a business library at the same time that we were trying to expand. So we were able to connect with them and say, you know, we have the resources, why should there be a duplication of effort? So we work with them to find a way that we can support their members. At the time, they had 1,000 members. So we were able to import them into our circulation system, give them access to the databases. We provide one-on-one reference to their members. And we participate in many of their programs, and we attend their new member organization meetings that they have. So that way they know that they can count on us. And really what was nice about that partnership is that it really allowed us to work with companies that were much more elevated, so to speak, than your small business owner or your entrepreneur. We're talking about more like major corporations and a little bit more sophisticated business people. So we learned a lot from them, and we were able to take that and build that into the Miller Center. So we really are grateful for that partnership. And after all those years, it's still going strong. So now Elizabeth will speak a little bit more about those partnerships and more about what the Miller Center does.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? As Sophia said, and a lot of other people said, getting out there and reaching people and having partnerships within the business community is how you can succeed. We do a lot of, what the other libraries have been saying on this presentation, and it's great. And I love to see other libraries helping businesses, because I think it's so important. We wanted to focus today on just on a couple of big events that we have at the library, just so you can see what we do in relation to that. So we try to have events to, again, increase our reach, expand into the business community, maybe connect more with the partners we already have, form more partnerships, and to continue to educate businesses and to really create a sense of community. So one of the big events we have every year is in May, and it's called the Strictly Business Trade Show. And it's really a business to business trade show. We partnered with our local chamber to put this trade show on, because we really wanted to give smaller businesses an opportunity to attend a trade show, to exhibit at a trade show and meet each other. And we also wanted to promote membership in a chamber. So we offered a discount to people that were chamber members. That program is wonderful for us. We have over 100 vendors that day, and we get close to 1,000 attendees each time we offer Strictly Business. But our pinnacle, our biggest event of the year, the one we're always most excited about, is something called the Women's Expo. The Women's Expo is 22 years old. We've been doing it for that long. I've only been involved for about 20 years, but it did start out as a much smaller event, but it was started with a local organization called the Long Island Fund for Women and Girls and the Middle Country Library to really help lift up women who wanted to start businesses, didn't feel like they had the knowledge to do that, really needed just some sort of push, somebody telling them that they could do it, just support all around. So the Women's Expo is a trade show. It's held in October. We have more than 80 vendors. We get over 2,500 people attending. And we have it right in the library. So you can see this picture right here. We literally just set people up all throughout the library. And it's just really, that day is wonderful. But it's so much more than one day, because we do really nurture the women who apply. We're looking for women who are trying to take their businesses to the next level, who are trying to connect with more women. And we do this in a few ways. It's a special event in a couple of ways. One, we have it during the week. So it is during the work week, and we invite local business women, we connect the business women with the women selling product, and we hear of a lot of great connections that are made that way. We also offer educational programs and assistance the entire year leading up to the expo. We are helping the women who have either been involved in the expo or would like to be involved in the expo. And it's anywhere between setting up a website, selling on Etsy. I don't know what to do when I go to a trade show. How much should I bring? What should I wear? I'm not really sure what to do. So we're able to help them. We're able to connect them with other professional women that can help them. So it's really wonderful. And then we couldn't do it without our planning committee. And our planning committee is made up of representatives from the sponsors for the program, as well as other business professionals or women that are involved in local not-for-profits that can help business in some way. And it really just feels like a family. It feels like a community. It's probably the day we work the hardest. We're there from like 6 a.m. till 8:30 p.m. and everybody's like, oh God, but also just the energy that day is amazing. And I actually put together just a page of photos so you can kind of see some of the, just, it's wonderful. The shoppers are happy because they have a place to go. We have you know, local over 55 communities just coming in their buses. We have, as you can see here again, that's right in the middle of the library. So people are getting their DVDs and maybe talking to a woman who makes her own tea. We have a very robust planning committee. They're all wonderful. And they just love being there. And we get the business community involved in so many ways. Down here, you can see every year, Bank of America, who is our biggest sponsor for the event, sends their employees to volunteer to help people to set up, and they come in their shirts, and it's just so great to see them. It's just a really wonderful day, and it is really indicative of what the Miller Center tries to do every day with our business patrons, with entrepreneurs, with people that just think maybe I want to start a business. So it's wonderful. I love what I do, and I love to hear about so many other libraries doing it, and really honored to be a part of the book. And I'd like to thank Megan and ALA.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you, Sophia. We have just a couple minutes for questions. If people have questions for Middle Country or any of the past presenters, feel free to either unmute or to drop them in the chat. I'm also going to put our 1 minute exit ticket in the chat right now. If you could take just that 1 minute to, it's more like really like 10 seconds, to fill that out and let us know what you thought of this programming and future programming, would really appreciate it. Yes, Beth, yes. Everybody today is one of the contributors in the book. So definitely check that out if you want to learn more about these specific programs or get inspiration from, there's 30 plus libraries featured in the book. So a number of other people who didn't speak today are also contributors on this call. Yeah, thank you all so much. I loved hearing from our 4 featured speakers today. Any questions before we go?